Welcome back to Friends with Benefits Car Club, the only show where EVs catch fire, Beyoncé's hard drives go missing, and car news hits harder than potholes on the freeway. Here's what's cooking this week. A Chevy Equinox EV catches fire in Boston after hitting road debris, turning I-90 into a gridlock disaster. The rest of the world is speeding ahead on EV sales, while North America's stuck doing donuts in a parking lot. Tesla finally enters India, 9 years late, with luxury pricing and no superchargers. Bold strategy. Polestar's sales are up, but not exactly exploding, unless you count the 884 horsepower Polestar 5 coming soon. The US is threatening 25 to 35% tariffs on EU and Canadian imports. So yeah, your next car could cost more because politics. And in Atlanta, someone straight up stole Beyoncé's unreleased music from a Jeep Wagoneer. No, really. Subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss next week's drama. This is Friends with Benefits Car Club, and we're just getting warmed up. Let's get into it. Boston's morning commute went full disaster movie when a Chevy Equinox EV caught fire on I-90 near Fenway Park, bringing traffic to a standstill all the way back to Logan Airport. And no, the Red Sox weren't playing. This chaos was all on a rogue piece of road debris. Driver Brian Alba hit something on the road just before the fire started. He and his 90-year-old grandfather were briefly trapped due to traffic, and Alba suffered minor burns, but both escaped before the Equinox went full barbecue mode. Thankfully, a Massachusetts state trooper jumped in with his own extinguisher until firefighters arrived, and the Boston Fire Department got things under control in under 2 hours. Lightning fast by EV fire standards. Turns out, this isn't the first time road debris has torched an EV. Tesla had a similar issue back in 2013, which raises a good question. Why don't EVs have better underbody protection by now? At least no one was seriously hurt, and it didn't happen inside a tunnel. Also, in the most Boston move ever, the driver apologized for the traffic backup. Legend. So here's a fun headline to choke on while charging your hybrid at 110 volts. The rest of the world is leaving North America in the EV dust. Europe and China are now miles ahead when it comes to adopting electric vehicles. And meanwhile, here in North America, we're still debating whether plugging in a car will fry the power grid or summon a ghost. According to new data, global EV sales are booming, but that boom is noticeably quieter on this side of the ocean. While countries like Norway are handing out EVs like candy, and China is basically turning every scooter, bus, and rickshaw electric, we're over here asking the real questions like, but how long does it take to charge? And will I have to sit next to a stranger at the charging station? To be clear, the issue isn't that we hate EVs, people are interested, but between charging deserts, inventory shortages, and a general confusion about the tax credits that feel like a choose-your-own-adventure puzzle, adoption is moving at grandma in the right lane speed. Meanwhile, China's dropping new EV startups every week like it's the sneaker market, and Europe's installing chargers faster than we're arguing about parking spots. Germany, full speed ahead. France, giving tax breaks. Norway, basically an EV-only zone with fjords. And North America, we have Ford apologizing for delays, Chevy turning the Blazer EV into a software glitch test lab, and dealerships trying to upsell you on a home charger they can't even install. It's not that we're not trying, it's just that trying here looks a lot like a group project where one person did the homework, one guy brought snacks, and the other four forgot there was homework. The infrastructure is still too patchy. The EV selection is confusing for average buyers. And let's be real, some folks are still mourning the loss of the V8 like it was a family member. RIP, throttle response. Bottom line, while the world is gliding silently into the electric future, North America is still revving its engine in neutral, hoping someone else figures it out first. Maybe we'll catch up in 2026, or at least before Polestar changes its name to Battery Ghost. You know how group projects always have that one person who does nothing and still gets credit? Yeah, that's GM in this Ultium-powered crossover family. Honda and Acura's new EVs, the Prologue and ZDX, are both based on GM's Ultium platform, but somehow they're outselling GM's own entries like the Chevy Blazer EV and the Cadillac Lyriq, which is kind of like borrowing someone's ingredients and still cooking a better meal. Early numbers show that Honda and Acura are pulling ahead because they're actually building and delivering cars. Crazy idea, right? Meanwhile, GM's been stuck in a weird limbo of recall drama, software glitches, and promise we'll fix it soon PR campaigns. And the customers, they don't care who made the battery. They care whose car actually starts and doesn't tell them service vehicle soon after 40 miles. Looks like Honda took GM's toy and just played with it better. Sorry, Mary Barra. Honda's now the teacher's pet in the Ultium class. It took 9 years, but Tesla has finally entered India, fashionably late, of course, and just as global deliveries are starting to soften. Strategic? Maybe. Coincidental? Probably. Either way, the long wait is over, and India's getting the Model Y, kind of. The base Model Y is being imported from China and starts at the equivalent of 70,000 US dollars. That's about $25,000 more than what American buyers pay before tax credits. The long-range version, which isn't even available in the US, clocks in at around $80,600. With that price tag, Tesla's not competing with mainstream EVs. It's stepping straight into luxury territory, facing off with BMWs and Mercedes-Benz. Tesla's first showroom, or as they call it, an experience center, has opened in Mumbai, with another coming soon to Delhi. But there's a catch. No Superchargers yet, not one. Tesla says they'll build 8 stations across Mumbai and Delhi with DC fast charging and level 2 options. But for now, it's all about showing the flag and building presence. And while there's no local manufacturing yet, there are plans to import from the German Gigafactory once the India-EU free trade agreement goes through. That could shake up pricing and logistics, assuming it actually happens. So, why now? Analysts say it's all about planting the brand early. India's EV market is still emerging, with EVs making up around 5% of total car sales, and luxury vehicles only 1% of that. But that's still millions of potential customers, and Tesla wants in before things scale up. The strategy? Get eyes on the product, build just enough infrastructure to make a splash, and play the long game in a fast-growing market. Tesla might not be chasing volume just yet, but this move says one thing loud and clear: India matters, and this is just the beginning. Polestar just dropped its Q2 2025 sales numbers, and if you squint hard enough, you might think they are on fire. The Swedish-Chinese EV brand sold 18,049 cars globally this past quarter, which is a 38% increase from this time last year. Not bad for a brand that was once a one-car wonder. But let's not get carried away. Yes, the numbers are trending up, and yes, they've sold over 30,000 vehicles in the first half of 2025, a 51% gain from the same period in 2024. But when you're coming from relatively modest volume, even a mild sales breeze can look like a hurricane. Just a few years ago, Polestar was that mysterious brand with exactly one offering, the Polestar 2. It was quirky, clean, and trying to take on the Tesla Model 3 like a polite Swede in a boxing match. But now, the lineup has tripled with the addition of the Polestar 3 SUV, the crossover coupe-esque Polestar 4, and soon, the flagship Polestar 5 4-door GT, which is gunning for 884 horsepower in dual motor form, and looks like it was built to rob concept car museums. So, naturally, with 3 cars on sale, you'd expect sales to triple too. Right? Well, not quite. The company didn't even match the peak Polestar 2 numbers from early 2023 until this year, and that was with 3 vehicles working overtime to hit what a single model once did. Translation: Polestar's been grinding hard just to stay afloat in a market that's cooling faster than your coffee when you forget it on the roof of your EV. The new Polestar 5 is their next big bet. It's slick, futuristic, and packs nearly 900 horsepower, because apparently what the luxury EV master really needs is another hyper-powered 6-figure sedan to sit next to the Taycan. The Lucid Air, the EQS, the i7, the e-tron GT, and the eternal Tesla Model S. So yeah, the 5 is walking into a very crowded room. It better have one hell of a personality. CEO Michael Loscheller remains upbeat, calling the latest results a strong quarter of growth in increasingly challenging market and geopolitical conditions, which is corporate speak for, we know the market's tough, but at least someone's buying. To be fair, Polestar's doing a lot right, expanding its retail presence, cleaning up its design language, and making cars that don't look like they were pulled from a Play-Doh mold. But their biggest challenge isn't qualities to cut, it's recognition. Ask 5 non-enthusiasts what a Polestar is, and you're likely to get answers ranging from a sci-fi villain to a new vitamin brand. Bottom line, Polestar's showing promise, but it's still fighting for relevance in an EV world that's increasingly dominated by brands with bigger marketing budgets, deeper roots, and way more charger access. The 5 might change that, or it might just be another beautiful car for Polestar fans to post about on Reddit. Either way, we'll be watching, silently judging, as always. If you thought the last season of international trade drama was wild, buckle up. Because season 2025 just dropped and it's getting spicy. The White House has set a new deadline of August 1st to finalize a sweeping tariff strategy that could slap 30% duties on most imported goods, with 25% sector-specific tariffs just for autos. So yes, this is not a drill. It's a full-blown economic soap opera, and the entire global auto industry is watching with popcorn and a slight sense of dread. At the heart of this trade tantrum is the European Union, particularly German automakers. Think Mercedes, BMW, Audi, you know, the brands Americans love to lease for the badge. If a deal isn't struck in time, their cars might cost significantly more in the US come August, meaning your dream of getting a C-Class for under $50,000, poof, gone. President Trump issued a letter to EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, declaring the US is done playing nice with one of its largest trade deficits and will move forward only with more balanced and fair trade, caps lock very much included. Meanwhile, Canada, our friendly upstairs neighbor, is absolutely losing it. Not only are Canadian exports getting hit with a proposed 35% tariff, but vehicle exports will also face that 25% sex rule slap. And for a country whose auto industry is closely intertwined with the US, this is like waking up to find your longtime business partner has changed the locks and put your tools on eBay. Canada's biggest transportation and auto union, Unifor, isn't having it. The President Lana Payne fired back with a line that sounds like it belongs in a courtroom drama. That's not negotiation, that's coercion. Translation, you're not the boss of us, eh? And just to keep things interesting, the White House is also tying these tariffs to fentanyl policy. Because of course it is. That's like arguing about what to have for dinner and suddenly bringing up student loans. It doesn't have to make sense. It just has to distract people. Add in tariffs on copper, steel, and aluminum, and you've got an all-you-can-eat buffet of economic chaos that'll affect everything from EV batteries to body panels. And let's not forget, these are global supply chains. Messing with them is like pulling the wrong Jenga block and hoping the tower doesn't fall on your face. European leaders are warning that these tariffs would disrupt essential transatlantic supply chains. Translation, if you do this, you're gonna regret it. And also, your iPhone might cost $2,000 next year. So yeah, the stakes are high, the timing is awful, and the fallout potentially massive. If these tariffs kick in, don't be surprised when prices for your favorite cars go up. Not because the tech got better, but because international diplomacy fell apart in a group chat. Bottom line, tariffs may sound like boring paperwork, but for the auto world, they're economic grenades. And August 1st, that's the day they might all go off. Let's wrap things up with the biggest musical plot twist since Milli Vanilli. Beyoncé's unreleased music was allegedly stolen from a Jeep Wagoneer. Yes, the $90,000 rolling Wi-Fi hotspot with wood trim and enough luxury to host a TED Talk apparently couldn't stop a smash and grab. Someone broke into the SUV and made off with hard drives containing Queen Bee's precious tracks. Stuff that was probably intended for her next album, private sessions, or an elite-only Jay-Z collab that none of us were supposed to hear until 2032. Now listen, this isn't just some petty theft. This is musical contraband. Somewhere out there, a guy in sweatpants is listening to unreleased Beyoncé vocals while eating Hot Pockets and uploading them to a Russian Discord server. It raises a lot of questions, like why was this much valuable intellectual property stored in an SUV? Was it double encrypted? Was there a safe? Or did someone just toss the tracks in the center console between a lip gloss and a half-empty Starbucks? Also, where's the Wagoneer's security? Isn't this thing supposed to have 360-degree cameras, motion sensors, and enough tech to prevent a drone strike? Apparently, what it doesn't have is not being parked in a sketchy lot with sensitive material inside. Morale of the story, if you're a Beyoncé, maybe store your unreleased music on the cloud, or a hard drive wrapped in concrete, or literally anywhere other than the trunk of a Jeep, because even a diva can't outsing Grand Theft Auto. And that's a wrap. From EV fires to tariff wars to someone bootlegging Beyoncé from a Wagoneer, this week was wild. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you didn't, go ahead and hit dislike, we can take it. Drop a comment. Which story shocked you the most this week? Road debris, trade drama, the Bayhive heist? If you want to catch up on previous episodes, I'll leave them up on the screen for you. Seriously, thank you for watching to the end. It means the world to us. Whether you're here for the laughs, the news, or just to hang out, you're part of the Friends with Benefits family. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep driving, and remember, if the car you're driving doesn't make you feel like a superhero, you're driving the wrong one. Friends with Benefits, driving off.